Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode slash video on this channel or podcast, wherever, whether you are listening or watching. Welcome back. Today, we are going to be doing another rant, speaking from the heart video about how feeling is literally so exhausting and it's a lot to cover. So when I say feeling is exhausting and I've been wanting to talk about this, I don't mean just like any types of feeling. I just mean like I feel like the world is literally such a terrible place. Like we already know this and it sucks how I feel like when you grow up, you just see more and more how terrible it is. Like people really say like ignorance is bliss and oh, you'll miss when you were a kid and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I really do. Literally, the other day I saw a guy making a video about how he was like, dang, like when you grow up and you hear the whole stories about your family, who certain people are, what they're capable of, what they've done, like it literally sends you into shock. And trust me, I've had that moment very recently, very, very recently. Y'all don't even understand. And I understand it to an extent. Like, you can't tell kids everything because obviously, sometimes when you tell kids what's really going on when they're younger, it's bad because they're exposed to terrible things younger. But then it's like, it's also very hard having it exposed when you're younger because I feel like you kind of have to mourn the people, the version of people that you thought you knew. Like, you look at your uncles, your cousins, your whatever, as like, oh, this is this person, this is who they've been to me, blah, blah. And then to find out who they've been to someone else or someone close to you, and to have to just like rip all that out and be like, oh, yeah, like, especially knowing that's who they were during whatever time, it's really, really hard to grasp. It's literally mourning a person, but then it's so much more emotion involved. Then it's anger. At least it was for me. It's like, it's anger, it's sadness, it's anxious, and it really mind boggles you. And it's like, wow, like hearing who people really are, whether it's a shock to you as like a family member, a friend, whatever, it's just like I feel like it's one of the worst feelings. Because then here's the other part. Um my route that I took, I'm a youngest daughter and a Scorpio. So, you guys, if you know anything about that, you guys can gather the route I took. Everybody and all y'all and all of this, that's the route I took. But then we also see in our families a lot of times from older people. I'm not saying it's all of y'all. Chill out, Unc. But we see a lot of older people versus I feel like younger people, especially my generation, like Gen Z, making excuses for people or being like, well, yeah, they may be terrible people, but they're still family. And I feel like that's bullshit. I feel like whatever shocking truth like you hear about your family, what people have done, whether it's abuse, whether it's cheating, whether it's jail charges, whether it's financial related, whether it's just like sneaking, stealing, whatever it is, I feel like adults, well, I'm an adult because I'm 21, but y'all know what I mean. The old heads just never run out of excuses for terrible people as long as they're related to you. It's like, oh, you would literally want to beat up if my boyfriend did that to me, but because that's your brother, it's, oh, that's still your uncle, don't disrespect him or whatever. What? And especially in my community, if you're a part of the Black community, I'm not saying other families don't do it, but I just feel like in my community it's even worse. Like, and so I feel like when you grow up and you learn all these truths, like those are literally the only two paths. Like you become one of those people who's like, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with the situation. I'm not putting up with these people, no matter their family or not. Or you have those people who are like, well, they are family and I'm still going to be around. Or I'm going to just, you know, whatever. Basically, I'm not saying that everybody who sticks around or deals with those people is okay with it, but they're okay with it enough to not confront or protect the people that are hurt. And over these past couple months in my family, I've had so many conversations with my parents or with adults in the family where I'm so disappointed because I feel like it just feels like no one feels like me. Like no one feels my rage, even if they agree, or how serious like my emotions for the people hurt in these situations. And I feel like I'm always hearing the same thing from people I try to talk about this with, except my therapist. Shout out to Summer. Okay. They be like Alicia, like I'll build so much rage or so much aggression or so much resentment towards the truth about these towards the terrible truths about these abusive people in my family or in my life. And like the number one thing I hear is like, Alicia, like you can't be like taking all this on, or like you're gonna stay like this, like you're gonna stay upset, like it's not your situation, it's not that, if it didn't happen to you, like you have to just calm down or whatever, or like these emotions, like this is going to keep happening to you, you're going to keep panicking and this and that. And my thing is, I know that these people are trying to protect me, right, like give me a peace of mind, but also it makes me feel like, but why not? Why wouldn't you be bothered by this abuse, by these terrible events, by these people getting hurt, by these people not feeling protected? And it's just like, I can't turn on and off me caring about things, rightfully so, and people I love. And having these conversations and seeing myself almost always being the only one who's visibly upset or visibly does something about the situation other than just be silent really made me question, like, what is enough to people nowadays? What is enough for people to stop being friends with someone, stop letting people around their kids, stop talking to someone, unfollow someone? Like, what is enough these days? Abuse is not enough. Abuse is not enough because someone is this, someone is family, someone did a long time ago. So it's like it's always an excuse. And people are always saying, when I have all this anger and I have all this anxiety and feeling of protecting these people who are hurt in these situations, it's like I'm always hearing, well, it's a tricky situation, which I understand. Like, not everything is so cut and dry when it involves, someone you already know. That's why I think people who cling to terrible people that they've never met that are like celebrities is really scary. Like, you see how many people still have a following and still have a career after multiple accounts of being abusive, being predators, and people will be in their comments defending them. Like, they da da da, and they don't even know them, y'all. They don't even know them. So that's already how I know the world is scary enough. But then it comes to knowing these people, and it's like, it's tricky, which I said I understand, because this experience is literally so hard because it's like mourning, but then it's like anger, and it's like all these things. But to me, it's not tricky enough to keep these people around. Personally, how I dealt with all this in my personal life was literally cutting people off, not associating with them, and in one case, confronting them. And I'm not saying any of those things were easy when it's people that you had this whole idea about that was a facade. But I feel like people should be strong enough to do this, then stay silent and stay compliant. That's something that's been very frustrating me. Frustrating me growing up is I feel like so many people in this world are so compliant to things that I feel so strongly about. And, a lot of times, like my family and friends, when I talk about this, they be like, well, maybe you feel a little bit deeper, or you're a little bit more passionate because you're a victim, right? Because I am a victim of sexual assault. But I don't even think It's that. Like, yes, I have my own experiences, but it's just like I feel like whether I had my own experience or not, I've always been outspoken. I would still handle it how I'm handling it now. I would still confront those people. I would still cut them off because whether it relates to me or not, like I'm just such an activist ass bitch. Like you're done. You're done. Like I said, it's not like it's easy to cut off or confront or like have a whole death of a person you thought you knew. But to me, it's very, very necessary when it comes to the very serious things that I'm heard of. And on top of me already being very emotional in these situations, to me, it's even more hurtful to see how many people are not like me. I feel like a lot of people, not even when it just comes to abusive people, when it comes to what's going on in the world, marginalized communities who need people to speak up. I feel like people don't understand how harmful it is to stay silent because they think like, "Oh, I can have my own opinion, but like I don't have to say it." Um and they think that's good enough, which I know different people have different personalities. Not everyone's going to do what I do, which is what my dad always tells me, but silence is compliance. When you're silent and you don't objectify the oppressor, like that is one more person that makes the oppressor or the abuser feel safe, feel like what they're doing is okay, feel like, you feel me? And you absolutely see it out in the world day after day. The police have been offing my people, black people, for decades. My mom is literally from Compton, California. She's seen it all, okay? But like I remember someone, this white teacher I had before, telling me when the video of Rodney King being beat in LA came out, he was like, that was the first time I realized police brutality was real, right? And like as a white person who's never experienced that, I could kind of see it. That's kind of messed up if you've had friends of color who have told you about it, but you didn't believe it till you saw it with your own eyes. But that is like the reality of this world. Silence is compliance. And you see in history over and over again, if enough people talk and speak up, things change. Things have to change. Like you can't ignore us. We've seen it happen in 2024. When have we ever seen a police officer be convicted of a crime, of a death, a wrongful death? Like we've literally never seen that till what, he was convicted in like 2021. And guess what? He would have not been convicted unless that video went viral, unless a bunch of people reposted it. All 50 states protesting, out of the country protesting, people being, too many people were speaking out and saying it was wrong and saying we're not okay with it and saying we're not going to deal with it, that they had to do something. So it shows people think that, oh, my voice doesn't matter or something, but when enough people speak out, the authority can't, what are they going to do? They have no choice but to listen. And I feel like so many people don't understand that. And again, I understand that there's just different personalities. There's quiet people, there's people who are more soft spoken or more self conscious, but it doesn't even have to be on a huge scale. Not everyone has to go out and protest, but you can repost something, you can sign a petition, like you can offer support to that community or that person in some way, but just saying nothing and acting like it never happened, which again, I'm circling it back to people you actually know and the world, is not okay. And it is really crazy and really disappointing to me as an emotional empath human being how many people disagree with me on that one. I've had this thing, right? I've never really been cheated on before. I have a story time called He Cheated on My Phone. It was a dude that I was supposed to be exclusive with in the talking stage that was not exclusive. So he was my official boyfriend yet, but basically we were locked in. But in a committed relationship, I've never actually been cheated on. But my thing is, I always said I would never date someone who's cheated on someone before. Cause I believe like that's kind of scary that you're capable of that. And obviously I don't like people who don't have self-control and don't have general respect and compassion for someone that they're with and they chose to commit to. I just feel like that's super easy. And if it's not easy for you, you should explore other options. There's people who are open, there's people who are polyamorous. Like, you don't have to do that to someone who wants something different. But mainly, I feel, even though I don't know the person, like I just think of how I've had my trust broken before, not through like cheating in a committed relationship, but through lying, stuff like that. And just like, to me, just thinking that, wow, you were really selfish at one point and you changed the trajectory of how someone thinks for life, like what they think about trust, what they think, how they go about relationships. I mean, we're not responsible for our trauma. We are responsible on how to deal with it, which some people don't do. I've been on the other end of that. I've been with someone who did not deal with being cheated on the past well and treated me crazy. But I just know how much of an impact, maybe it's because I've been through that situation, that has on people. And I don't know, I just feel for people. And I would just think about how that you really hurt someone bad in that way and like affected probably their self-esteem, how they, and like, I know we all hurt people in different ways. Cheating isn't the only way to hurt someone you're in a relationship with, there's lots of different things. But me personally, I just feel like I feel too much. I feel like to give someone like that a chance, I'm like, you did that to someone, so why? And I think I'm amazing, so I'm like, why would I give you a chance with me? And you know what, 2 times I've been talking to guys who I asked the question because I want to know. I want to know. I feel like that's some. I remember one time a dude had to tell me no, he didn't feel like that was important information to know. I feel like that's very important information to know about someone you're gonna date. Okay, like I understand people change, but I don't. I don't know. Fuck you, cheaters. Anyway, I talked to 2 dudes before who said yes to that question, and in the worst ways too. Like literally having with someone else, and I was like, no, like I don't, nah, like, and both times those guys were so adamant, like, no, this was like 4 years ago, like I was a dumb teenager, I'd never do that to someone again, and also I know how it feels to have that done to me because it happened to me, like karma, blah blah blah. And so, nah, like I'm not that person anymore, you don't understand, like I would never want to, right? They came with all that when I was trying to cut them off, like. But in the grand scheme of things, none of those men ever became my man because what, it never worked out. But I know so many people who would date someone who cheated on someone before because they're like, oh, people change, which I understand people change. And I'm not saying it's a guarantee that someone who did that would do it again, but I don't know, y'all. Like, I just feel everything. I feel bad for their ex. I feel anger for their, like, feeling is so hard. And then also, when it comes to accepting people, it's just like, where do we draw the line? Because, like I said, the media is exhausting. We see so many abusers, so many predators being rich and famous and seemingly happy and have tons of fans that defend them. Um, so yeah, it's just like, where do we draw the line? Because I'm like, if it comes to any type of abuse, I would never date someone like that. Like, what? Because I'm glad I've never had this experience, but then I also hear girls being like, yeah, I've gone through an abusive relationship, whether it was physical or sexual, and then, I come across the new person and I just want to let them know, you know, what I've been through, because abusers don't tend to stop, they tend to do what they do regardless. And then a lot of girls say that they're met with so much disappointment, like they get blocked or they get told they're lied or they get harassed. Like, um, and that's to this day why I don't know if I'd ever go to someone that personally knew my old abuser, because I just feel like this world is filled with so much disappointment. This world freaking sucks, y'all. And like, you know how I said that when I talk about how I react to hearing like a lot of people's truth and abusive past and stuff, a lot of times I react very emotionally. And like a lot of people I know tend to say, well, that's because you have your own experiences. And I say, like, in that way, no. But in this way, I definitely see it's because of my own experience. Like literally, y'all, I'll be scrolling on TikTok and I'll literally come across someone talking about like abuse they experienced as a child or in any stage, but especially those ones. And I'll literally like it'll literally like ruin my mood. Not like that, but it's just like tears will start shedding down my face, and I'll just feel like disgust. Not with myself or anything, but I'll just feel disgusted by this world because like the story will literally shake me. So I'm like, who would ever do that to a child? Like, what? Who would ever do that to anyone? Like, I just, I don't know, y'all. I just feel too hard. People always talk about, oh, in relationships, I fall too hard. I feel too hard. I feel everything. Me, baby, me should be on relationships. It's just this world and how it sucks. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Let me know if you guys can relate to feeling like so misunderstood in this world because of how deeply you feel, um, and how you lack showing how you feel or lack hiding to show how you feel because I sure do. I'm a Scorpio. You always gonna see it on this face. Okay. Wait, I just thought of something, y'all. Sorry, I'll be all over the place. But one more thing I just want to say. When I said like learning the shocking truth about some family members and stuff, and how I said in a lot of cases I reacted by just like cutting them off, but in one case I did react by confronting someone. I just want to say that the person I did confront, I had consent from the victim to speak up because I would never put a victim in danger because I know how dangerous that could be. So yeah, I just want to make that clear. But yeah, like I love myself and I love being this way because one, I just feel like I'm a real ass bitch. Two, a lot of people aren't brave enough to wear their heart and their emotions on their sleeves. So I think it's very powerful, even though the world judges you for it and a lot of times makes you feel like there's something wrong with you because you do the right thing even when it's hard or scary. But yeah, it is not it is not easy in a compliant ass world like this. So if you're like me, if you feel similarly, if you've ever felt like this, just know I see you and keep doing it because not a lot of people have the heart to be as real and honest as us. Um, and I really find comfort, especially as a victim, when I meet or see other people like myself who aren't afraid to stand up. So keep doing your thing because I'm sure you being that way can make someone else feel um comforted too. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this rant. I hope it was helpful in some way. Let's talk in the comments. I love talking to y'all. Speaking of which, I want to say thank you guys for 1,000 on my last um, video. Not video. My last one was a story time. The one before that, The Power of Silence. That's the highest views I've ever got on here. And I really appreciate you guys showing love, especially on one that I'm talking from the heart. So hopefully you guys can do the same with future videos. If you like content like this, you can click on my Yap Sessions playlist. I have lots of similar videos. This also gets posted on my podcast on Spotify called Alicia's World. So go ahead and check it out if you like content like that. Or if you want to laugh a little bit, like I said, I make story times too. So check out that playlist. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.